Hello and welcome to the APMA podcast. It's me, Lozzy, just in case you didn't know. For the viewers, I am going to be holding my mic again because my new mic stand hasn't turned up yet, unfortunately. So you might hear a bit of, shit noises. And this will be, actually, I should have addressed the audio listeners first, but thank you for listening. It's going to be worse for you because if, do you know what I mean? If you want to hear that, me banging the mic, I do apologize. It's just I'm having to hold it with my hand. First world problems. But anyway, how are we doing? Are we doing all right? I'm doing all right. It's too hot. As I've maintained for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's too hot. And what is even worse is that the Pepsi Max I brought up to drink on the pod is gone because I really couldn't wait. I was, parched. I needed to quench my thirst with a nice crisp Pepsi Max. In every way, better than Coke Zero. But anyway, I'm holding out for that brand deal. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Appreciate you checking in and getting your entertainment pass of the time, whatever it may be, with me here on the APMA channel. Today, we're going to be talking about shit inventions, shit ideas, because there's a lot of them out there. There's a very good saying, famous, very well-known saying, that for every good idea, there's about 50 million shit ones. That's not a real saying. I just made that up, but it's probably true. Probably. I can't say for sure. Allegedly, possibly, maybe. Branding. Let's go. But yeah, I'm sure everyone's got a few inventions that they think are pretty crap. I've got a few. I've got a list of a few ones that I want to talk about. Just some of them, you really have to question both how you came to that decision and to how it gained traction. But as you'll see, there's probably a bit of a theme. I do apologize. There was no need for that. No need. And I say it every time. I should take some of my own advice, really, when I tell Jordan not to. Well, actually, he says it himself. He says he's not going to have carbonated drinks whilst doing a podcast. Then for sure, 100% turns up with a carbonated drink and then complains that he's burping. But that's just what it makes you gassy, You just got to expel it some way. But yeah, we'll kick off with the first one in a minute. But I just want to let everyone know, again, quick little plug. It's going to be quick, right? I can chill out. Just continue driving. If you're driving, continue listening, continue eating, doing whatever you're doing. Maybe you should be doing some work, but thanks for possibly getting the sack for listening or watching the APMA podcast. I really do appreciate it. I will not help with any, stimulus. If you do get sacked because of this, I can't help you out financially. I'm just saying. But I do appreciate you getting sacked because you are so intent on listening or watching the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, what was I even saying? I go on so many sidetracks, I don't even know what I was saying. What was I going to say? I don't know. It's gone now. That's it. I've got dementia. It's 100% confirmed now. It's 100%. It's nothing else. It's gone. Who am I? Whose house is this? What date is it? Fucking hell. Anyway, fuck it. Let's just get on with the fucking podcast. Jesus Christ. I really can't remember what I was just talking about. That's horrific. Look, let's kick it off with our good friends at Sony. Now, I have looked at the first two of these. This is from time.com. Content.time.com. I don't know if that's got anything to do with Time magazine. I don't know. This one's an old one, so any new listeners or younger listeners probably won't have a fucking clue what I'm about to talk about, but you're here for the ride. You're here for the ride. Sony, get in the bin. No, I'm joking. Look, they're all right. All right. Sometimes. Sony CD copy protection. Ah, yes. Back in the day when you used to rip music from your CDs and put on your computer, to then, quite possibly, allegedly, possibly, maybe, put onto an MP3 player that you could then listen to at your leisure. That was the dream. That was the goal. Sony didn't want that. Nope. In the days before iTunes, record labels tried all sorts of wacky protections to stop people from pirating music. The dumbest innovation belonged to Sony, which hard coded software into the CDs in 2002 to prevent listeners from copying tracks to a computer. The only problem? The software could be easily defeated by using a permanent marker to draw a border around the edge of the disc, rendering the expensive barrier useless. Good luck banning markers, Sony. That is glorious. The fact that Sony probably put millions, hundreds and hundreds of hours of research, more research, more resources. It makes me a little bit happy knowing that they tried to basically stop people having something that they technically owned. All right, you could argue that someone lent you the CD and then you could just rip the music onto your PC, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, someone's bought it and they've stopped the end user trying to get the music on their PC, other than having to put the CD into the disk drive and play it there. That's a bit shit, innit? But I'm glad it got defeated by something as ordinary as a permanent marker. That's brilliant. But the millions that must have gone into researching that, developing it, then actually having it roll out onto CDs, and then for someone to discover somehow if you just draw around the disc with a fucking permanent marker, it is rendered useless. That's fantastic. It's a great starting point because that kind of is a theme, and obviously a lot of people make or come up with inventions, obviously to try and make some sort of money, whether it be building a business, building a brand, innovating on that. You know what I mean? That's how it works. You build a company up, you come up with inventions, they gain more traction, become more popular. Everyone uses them. That's the ideal way it goes. You create something that changes people's lives, even if it's small, like something like a can opener. You just made that and then you innovated on it and it becomes something where every household has a can opener. Unless the whole industry goes to ring pulled fucking cans, that would be a shame. But they tend to be a bit more expensive, the ring pulled ones. So yeah, don't know about that. You don't see many cheap brands of beans with the old ring pulls. That's a Heinz exclusive. You know what I mean? And to be honest, if you're paying full price for Heinz baked beans, you are a fucking idiot. I quick sidebar with this, all right? Beans. What are we saying? What's the best beans? Because I've got a bit of a controversial opinion. I think Heinz are poo poo. I do believe that their beans are of, I would say, subpar. It's the sauce. It's the sauce. Why am I talking about beans on a podcast about stupid inventions? The beans aren't stupid. They're very good. Whoever invented them, some say God, some say natural, Mother Nature. I don't know, or some say Mr. Bean. I don't know. That is up for debate. But what is not up for debate is how Heinz possibly do, out of the mainline brands, probably the worst sauce. It's not. Look, I don't want to slander Heinz. I like Heinz. Let me just tell you, I'll offset this slander for Heinz by saying that their tomato sauce is great. It's good. It hits the perfect balance, right? Also, if you are interested in any sauces, if you're a bit of a sauce geek, uh, if that even exists, Heinz do a great sauce in collaboration with Morley's. Now, Morley's are like a chicken shop chain. Um, very well, I'd say they have been in the public eye for quite a while now. I think Stormzy did a video or a music video or something, and Morley's were in it. I don't know, but something like that. But they gained a lot of traction over the last couple of years, and they've done a collaboration with Heinz, and the sauce is the tits, absolutely amazing, and it does go well with fried chicken. I'm just saying, they've nailed it, absolutely nailed it. So I want to get that out the way, just to basically then give me a bit of free reign to slander the fuck out of them for their beans. Heinz, your tomato sauce in the beans is weak, often too watery, not thick enough. I know it changes because you're meant to heat them up, which obviously I'd say most people do. If you're eating beans on purpose cold, I don't know what the fuck is going on in your life. If you've got no way to heat the beans and you're out pure survival, then I understand you eating them cold. I get it. I get it. But if you're at home, you got a microwave, you got a bowl, you got some beans, what are you doing? Why are you eating them cold? Strange, strange behavior. Hard drive, check. Boots on the door, press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You know what I mean? That's the sort of energy you got from people who eat beans cold on purpose. But yeah, what's the best tin of beans? We say, I don't even know. Do they all come and say, oh, you know what? Do you know when Heinz went downhill? I just remembered this. When they did the fucking stupid snack pot. Oh, there you go. That works. This 50 worst inventions. I can't even fucking speak. Jesus Christ, that happens every day. But 50 worst inventions. We'll not be doing 50. I've just cherry picked a few that I thought were nice. But I'm going to add to it by saying that when Heinz invented like the snack pot of beans that you could put in the microwave, that's when they fell off a cliff, in my opinion. So hang on, let me get this straight. Heinz have taken the idea of a tin of beans and then well, people don't always eat that much of beans. Sometimes the tin is half empty or half full, depending on your outlook on life. Do you know what I mean? I do apologize. So sometimes the tin has to stay in the fridge for a bit. Well, why don't we capitalize on the people who don't eat a full tin of beans in one go? Why don't we sell them a snack pot of beans in a pack of 4, and charge them basically the same price that it would cost to get a full tin of beans per pot? Yeah, how much is it for the tin of beans? That is just over £1. Okay, well the snack pots are 150. Yeah, but I'm getting the same amount of beans altogether, but you're charging me more for it. Well, we can because we're fucking Heinz, bro. We got the monopoly on beans. Well, let me tell you, this has gone left field, this fucking podcast, isn't it? Let me tell you, Heinz aren't king anymore. Some people say Branston. I know. I know. I don't I don't know what else Branston do apart from pickle, but beans, it's up there. I do rate it. Branston beans. And to be honest, the own brands of most of the supermarkets do a valiant job of trying to outdo Heinz, and they're much cheaper too. Let us know down in the comments. Do you like beans? Why the fuck you listen to this podcast? Let us know. Anyway, Sony failing with their anti-consumer just twattery by trying to stop people from copying music from a CD that they most likely bought and trying to get music on their PC from the CD. I know, crazy times, crazy times. What's the next one? Let me put it on the screen. I'll tell you what, it wasn't intentional, but the Japanese are going through the ringer on this fucking list. I mean, Nintendo Virtual Boy. I have actually heard about this. It's like a VR headset before VR was a thing. The Virtual Boy will go down as Nintendo's shortest lived system. Would it? Have they? When was it? When did this come out? 2010. I tell you what. I wonder if the Wii U would rival this now. The Virtual Boy will go down as Nintendo's shortest lived system, staying on the market for just 6 months in 1995. I do realize I just said this came out in 2010. I meant the article, not the actual item. Okay, just want to clear that up. For the audio listeners, you can't see obviously what article I've pulled up. For the viewers, there's no excuse for that mistake on your behalf. You need to take yourself to a mirror and have a long, good hard look at yourself. Anyway, the system came out for 6 months in 1995 before its mercy killing. The system consisted of bulky, bright red headgear that completely obscured a gamer's vision as he tried to play the game. Oh, hang on. He, as they, you fucking fascist, as they tried to play games rendered in rudimentary 3D graphics. It was expensive, retailing at $180 and came with a limited slate of games. Only 14 were ever available in the US. Nintendo decided to focus its efforts on a far more successful and traditional Nintendo 64 system, relegating the Virtual Boy to the recycling bin. I mean, it definitely looks like something from 1995. It's got that, like, really nasty plastic looking finish. Like, when I say plastic looking finish, obviously it's plastic, right? But this is the sort of thing you'd expect, like, I don't know, like a toolbox, right? Imagine like a toolbox from the 90s. It's plastic. I know people would say, well, toolboxes were metal back in the day, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Imagine a plastic one, right? It's the same plastic. It's the same plastic that is on that Virtual Boy in that picture. I'm just saying. That's what it's like. That's my comparison. If you don't like it, you can shut the fuck up. Sorry, I don't know why I got so passionate about a comparison between a plastic toolbox and a failed Nintendo console. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, it only lasted 6 months, so I think the Wii U might have done a little bit better than 6 months, but it can't be too far behind it. I mean, this would have been before the Wii U came out as well in 2010 when the article was written. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's too hot. It's too hot. I can feel the sweat. I can feel it. I can feel it. I know people probably don't want to know, but no, you do. So yeah, Nintendo coming up with a product that they binned off after 6 months. Not a great decision in terms of maybe they're too early. Too early because now VR is like a lot more, I don't know, marketable. People seem to be more interested in VR and it seems to have some good games. I mean, most of the games that I know that are decent are actually remakes of games that weren't VR before, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Resident Evil 4 comes to mind. I mean, I played that around Jordan's on his Meta Quest 2, I think it was. And geez, that was good. That's probably the best experience I've had playing that game. And I've played it on like 2 consoles, so and the Meta Quest 3 too. Jesus Christ, I skipped a gen. Oh, do you know what I mean? It's that time. It's that time. Just put me in a care home, leave me be, stick a tube down my throat, and feed me fucking porridge for the rest of my fucking days. Can't even remember what I said the last sentence. But anyway, that's the Virtual Boy in the bin. I wonder if anyone's got any of those kicking around because there'd be a fucking basically an antique at this rate, and and a very scarcely. Oh, what am I going for? Scarcely occupied? No, that's not right. There's not a lot of them. There you go. There, I saved it. I saved it. Fucking hell. Why do you people listen or watch this podcast? Honestly. Right, what's the next one? What's the next one? What are we going for? Ah, this is a great one. This is great. I mean, this is possibly one of the worst inventions in the world, and quite possibly single-handedly broke the economy in 2008. It's fantastic. It really is. Subprime mortgages. Great invention. I don't know what they're talking about. Basically, anyone who wants a house, fuck it. Anyone who wants houses, multiple, let them have it. What's that? They got a CCJ. They got fucking debts. They've already had their home repossessed. Ugh, well, let's give them another three and maybe they keep at least one. So this flimsy piece of foundation that brought the US economy tumbling into recession, subprime mortgages are risky loans given to people with shaky credit histories. When interest rates dipped in 2004, banks began granting mortgages to people who really, really shouldn't have had them. Even worse, many were structured adjustable rate mortgages with interest rates that climbed after the first few years. The result was a wave of foreclosures and banks with a lot of bad loans on their books. In short, financial catastrophe. And that is basically what happened in 2008. It's a great, I won't go into much detail because if you're not interested in economics at all, um, then it's just going to be boring for you. But there is a great film called The Big Short. There's also another good film called Margin Call, but The Big Short is 100% focused on subprime mortgages, and that is what the entire film covers. How it all transpired, what sort of deals were going on, and what the sort of behavior was, and the feeling towards just giving anyone a fucking mortgage who wanted one, and giving people multiple mortgages in a time where the interest rates were so low, but it was just given money to people who had no way of really paying it back realistically. And that was the whole premise. And the film has got a lot of um, big actors in it: Steve Carell, Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling is really good in that film. Would really recommend people go and watch it if they are at least semi interested in that sort of film. It does a good job of explaining things to you that you wouldn't otherwise really know about unless you were already in this sort of space, the financial space. But yeah, it's got Margot Robbie in a hot tub. I mean, you don't see anything other than, neck upwards. But yeah, she does a cameo in it. I think Selena Gomez does another cameo. I think Anthony Bourdain, the chef, who unfortunately killed himself, um, he is in it. I can't remember when it came out. It might have been the similar sort of time to when this um, article came out, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, I recommend both films. The Big Short, I think, is the better of the two. But maybe give Margin Call a look or a watch after The Big Short if you liked it. It's very good. It's also got Christian Bale in at The Big Short, so it's stacked with absolutely like talent. It's a great film, and it really does show you the absolute level of asinine degeneracy, if that even is a word, that people were operating with you know financial institutions. It's great. Anyway, subprime mortgages not great. 100% probably a shit invention. What's the next one? What are we going to be talking about? This one I don't get. Look, I'm going to have a few takes on this one because it's strange to me. And I don't know when this would have been like. I don't know who this serves. I'm just going to put it on the screen. Fake ponytails. If you want a ponytail that bad, I mean, I don't know when hair extensions were fully available, and I don't know when hair transplants were fully available, and I don't understand how, even if you have a hair transplant, I don't know if it grows like continuously or it just grows to a certain point and stops. I don't know. I don't know. But fake ponytails make no fucking sense to me at all. Like, the vast majority of fake ponytails that I've ever seen are like novelty ones. So maybe I'm just not the right person to ask about this or to even talk about it. But if you're buying a fake one and it's a novelty one, you're just doing it for like a costume or something. Makes sense. Very cheap. It looks cheap, but the idea is for it to look cheap to fit in with a costume, right? But if you're getting fake ponytails that are designed to look like real hair, but I'm not. I just don't understand why you couldn't just have a ponytail. I mean, if you have a ponytail on a bald bloke or a guy with thinning hair, you're gonna look suspect anyway. Same with a woman. Really, this entry could be for hair pieces in general, but the fake ponytail is particularly egregious. Doesn't matter how much money you spend on it, everyone can tell it's fake. Well, at least that it isn't yours. Some are produced with real human hair. Bonus points for bad taste if the fake ponytail is worn by a man. That's sexist. This is from 2010. We might be able to give it a little bit of a pass. Maybe. But yeah, I just don't think fake ponytails are a great look on anyone, personally. And I would say largely most of the time you can tell if they're fake. And they're very expensive if you buy, especially ones that are made out of human hair or some, blend of hair. I don't know if they use like animal hairs and some of them, I guess they would. Again, I'm not the best person to ask, but fake ponytails, what the fuck's that about? Same with toupees. Like toupees, everyone knows you've got a fucking bald head, mate. Everyone fucking knows it. Everyone. Everyone. Same with when you have like spray cans of hair. Fucking everyone knows you're using spray hair, spray canned hair, canned spray hair. I don't fucking know which way you're meant to say it. And that frustrates me a lot. Again, wheel me into that fucking care home and feed me porridge for the rest of my life. Look, if you have a fake ponytail, I do apologize, but I do think you are a bit of a twat. Just because, just embrace. Look, I'm going to be hypocritical right now. Okay, if I go bald, I 100% need to have a solution with hair involved, whether it be a wig or it be a hair transplant, because my head has got moles on it. Moles that look rank. Not they're not like massive and egregious. I'm just saying they're going to protrude my skull. They're on top of my skin. They don't look great. So I would have to have some sort of hair transplant. But that makes sense to me. Getting quite possibly might be human hair in a fake ponytail doesn't make sense, because if you haven't got long enough hair to have a ponytail, it's going to look weird. And if you haven't got any hair, but you just have a ponytail, again, I don't really see a scenario where you don't look like a raging twat. I don't know. Let us know down in the comments if you got a fake ponytail. Maybe you could, I don't know, sway me the other way. I don't know. At the moment, fake ponytails. Oh, shit. Oh, this is a great one, because I personally do not like these. And it's unfair to call these a failure because they are probably one of the most popular shoes going, and that is Crocs, right? Crocs make no fucking sense. Crocs aren't watertight. Crocs aren't really that comfortable, in my opinion. Crocs aren't very nice to look at. Crocs aren't really practical. Yet they fucking sell in the millions. And I've actually got a great story that I only found out a few days ago, linked to Crocs when they were first starting out. But I'll go into that later on, a little bit later on. So everyone that I know who has a pair of Crocs fucking loves them. Fucking loves them. Back in the day, if you used to watch me and Jordan on Duty Rhino when we were doing the festival content, the music festival content, long time ago, we're talking like 2016, 2017, um, we actually went into a store called QD. Now, if you're not familiar with QD, that's a UK chain of stores that the Q stands for quality and the D stands for discounts. Some people used to call it quality dump. And if you went in there and you're a bit posh and you wanted to describe it to someone other than saying QD, maybe you'd say like Quader or something like that. Make it sound a bit more French, a bit more European, a bit more easy on the ears. I don't know. But yeah, whether you called it Quader, quality dump, or QD, quality discounts, whatever it may be, they sold a copycat version of Crocs in there called, get this, Gators. Fantastic rebranding. Let's look at something that's successful, take the name, often just flip it around or call it something very similar, and let's rake in that fucking sweet money. The Gators, I'm not joking, apart from the Croc logo that they obviously can't just steal and lob on a pair of Gators, they look identical to Crocs. Same colors, same design, same holes, same sort of material, and about, a quarter of the price. So for me, it just rang home. You know that something's successful when there is a knockoff version of it that looks exactly the same and is much cheaper. Because otherwise, why the fuck would they bother? If you're only selling like 1,000 pairs a fucking year, they ain't gonna fucking bother. But yeah, that's a little bit of a classic throwback if you were a fan back in the day. We did do a couple of videos where we modeled the Gators in Quader or QD. But yeah, Crocs, I don't get them. Don't understand them. Like, there's not a single use that anyone's actually said to me that they're ideal for, that something else isn't better than them at. Like someone said, they're they're good for like walking in their garden just to do some gardening. And I was like, you buy fucking shoes for gardening? Just get a pair of fucking boots, man. Couple of pairs of wellies. If it gets a bit muddy, you're fucked. If it's rained, you're fucked. Other people have said, oh yeah, I like wearing them at the beach. Why? They have fucking holes in them. What's the point? Just take them off and go on the beach. You might as well walk. You may as well walk on sand if you're using them on sand. That's all I'm saying. I think they're shit. I do not rate Crocs at all. I think they're the most ugly looking footwear going. I've never owned a pair. I probably never will. The only time I will own a pair if someone very briefly gifts them to me, and then I'll be straight on Vinted or something like that. Because I can't be rocking up in Crocs, man. I just think they're fucking shit. They got fucking holes in them, which is like the only shoes I've ever seen other than like open toe sandals, right? Only shoes I've ever seen designed to have holes in them, but function as a normal shoe. They got the whole fucking, even the band at the back that goes behind your ankles. Oh, just fuck off. Like, honestly, it's such an ugly pair of fucking footwear. And I don't see how they're comfortable either. It's basically made out of fucking just rubber. How are your feet not fucking getting blisters on them? Just doesn't look right. They don't feel nice and they look awful. And I don't understand any scenario where they'd be better than any other footwear that would probably be cheaper. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Still linked to Crocs. Interesting story about the film Idiocracy. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's quite a funny film. Basically, the idea behind the film is that a guy was cryogenically frozen, and he was woken, or he's awoken from that freezing too late, 500 years into the future, and he by default becomes the smartest person on the planet because everyone in 500 years is a dumb twat. Quite a funny film. But the interesting thing, the link between the two is from the wardrobe department, because if I get this article up, they used Crocs. Everyone in Idiocracy wears Crocs because they were horrible and cheap. I tell you what, they're not cheap anymore, but they're still horrible. Oh, that's a burn. It's fucking. I tell you, this brand deals in the toilet every fucking time. Right, where is the passage that we want to read? Right, okay. The 2006 film tells the story of an unexceptional man who finds himself put in a deep freeze and thawed out 500 years too late. In a future where the dumbest people alive have taken over the world, and he's suddenly the smartest man alive, if only by default. In June 2022, Judge told the same story on the Joe Rogan podcast. The wardrobe woman had a limited budget, so we shot it in 2004. She tells me, okay, there's this startup, and it was Crocs, but they weren't out in the world yet. And she goes, look at these horrible plastic shoes with holes. She said we could easily save a lot of money, just put everyone in these things. I said, well, what if by the time the movie comes out, these become popular and everyone's wearing them? She said, oh, these are never going to become popular. These things are horrible. Then it took 2 years for the movie to come out. By then, people are going like, oh, that's pretty funny that you put everyone in Crocs. So, and that's not, I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice it in the film, I must admit. I just thought they were wearing some weird fucking slippers. But yeah, you can see them there. Look, obviously, audio listeners, I do apologize. You're not going to be able to see this, but I can confirm they are wearing Crocs. They look like Crocs, got the same shape, same shitty fucking holes, same awful fucking colors. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting point. But they definitely look like the sort of thing that I've got to be careful here. I don't want to call people, the R word for wearing Crocs, but it does give off a certain vibe that you might be mentally unstable. Just because I don't know, it's just the look of them. The look give off. I need to be in a straitjacket. That's the sort of look that oozes that energy for me. But anyway, I do apologize. If anyone's wearing Crocs right now, I'm not even sorry. You need to get some help. Just sell them on Vinted, mate. Get some money and get yourself a proper pair of shoes. All right. Jesus Christ. But yeah, interesting. I didn't know that when I watched the film a long time ago, must admit. But yeah, I found that out the other day. It obviously came out a couple of years ago on the Joe Rogan podcast when they were actually talking about it. But it took a little bit of time to get to me. All right. Sometimes it does. It's a bit of a lag on news. Not this is really news, but yeah. Crocs, Argash. Moving on. Let us know down below if you absolutely love Crocs. I mean, I won't care. I probably won't read it because I automatically think there's something wrong with you. There we go. You can't have it all your own way. All right. Can't be like, well, I like wearing Crocs. Oh, when they're not fucking stupid. Well, you can just look stupid and still enjoy it. Just embrace it. Next one. This is probably one of the worst inventions ever. I mean, I never tried it. And it could be one of those stories about, a drink that people blind tasted it and thought it was amazing, but then they found out it was new and the recipe had changed from the previous recipe, and it was a beloved brand and they changed the formula. Ooh, no, I don't like that. People don't like change. People don't like change. They're scared of it. Especially when you take something so established as Coke and then you call it new Coke. Not good. Not good. Not good. Marketers should have known. Don't mess with the consumers. Sensational attachment to a product Essentially, especially when it's 99-year-old Coca-Cola. The newer, sweeter version, introduced in April 23rd, 1985, succeeded in blind test. There we go. Succeeded in taste tests, but flopped in the real world. Phone calls, letters, and rants from Coke diehard diehards flooded in, and just 3 months after its debut, New Coke was removed, and the word "classic" was added to all Coke cans and bottles to assure customers they were getting their first love. It's probably one of the biggest errors and missteps in food and beverage history. That's a claim that I cannot back up. I just thought it sounded cool. There you go. So don't fucking if you got historical facts that don't back up what I said and contradict what I just said, just leave it. It's not worth it. Just let it slide. New Coke. I would actually be interested to see what it tastes like. I mean, it would require them to make especially just a batch or one can for me, because there's no way that I would be basically breaking the seal on what would be a can of Coke that is easily the best part of 40 to 50 years old. I feel like that's probably not a good idea. But yeah, I'd be interested to see comparing the two. How, because it must have been a really good result on the blind taste test for Coke to even consider changing the formula from what had worked for, basically the best part of 100 years. Craziness, craziness. But yeah, it's New Coke, not great, not great. And I did I have done a VIP podcast. I don't know if people have heard about the the Coke Zero and Oreo collaboration. Now I do go into a bit more detail on the VIP podcast. Do you know what? Do you know what? I have just cycled back. My fucked up brain has somehow clawed itself back to what I was talking about when I forgot what I was talking about. Right at the start of the podcast, about 5 minutes in, I was going to say, I remember what it is now. I do. I was going to give a quick plug to the members, to becoming a member of this channel. So, what better time to do it now before I fucking forget? Jesus Christ. So, 4.99, great segue into this. You can pay to become a member. Optional, of course. I'm not, one of these people who says like it's only $5 a month. You know what I mean? It's your money. Do what you want with it. I'm saying that you get 2 extra podcasts, VIP podcasts. I talk about a range of stuff. Usually, at the moment, I've been talking about a couple of news stories, giving a little bit of a unique spin on them. Maybe talking about gaming, talking about technology, I guess, AI, all the rest of it, anything and everything you can think of. I also did a recent one a couple of weeks ago about a woman who stole $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. Interesting. But yeah, you get that for $4.99. So that was the quick plug. There will be a link, a button underneath this video if you're watching somewhere that should say become a member. If you are listening to the podcast, I'll try and put a link somewhere in the description if I can. But yeah, just consider it. If you're interested, obviously, give it a go. But yeah, that was what I was going to talk about. And I don't know how my mind somehow clawed its way back. It's strange, that is. It does make me think that sometimes my brain is on autopilot and then it just realizes too late that something's gone wrong. Like, oh, hang on, hang on. I've just been looking through the history of what this twat's just said, right? It don't match up. Something's not right. I know it's 40 minutes later, but we need to go back. We need to go back. So maybe don't wheel me into the care home just yet. Yeah, maybe just keep it on hold for a little bit. Keep that porridge warm for me. All right. You can imagine just fucking eating porridge for the rest of your life. Yeah. I better be the thing about porridge, right? And it's what the fuck? We're talking about porridge, but porridge and beans is what this podcast should be called. Um, the thing about porridge is very easy to make, but it's also easy to get it wrong. If you overdo porridge, it becomes too clumpy and sticky. If you underdo porridge, then it's obviously cold and most likely too watery. I know people that only make it with water, and to those I say, go to jail, go to prison, key, thrown miles away, possibly even melted down. I can't be dealing with it. If you're one of these people who only makes porridge with milk, what is wrong with you? Not milk. Sorry, look. I tell you what. The care home's back on the cards. What the fuck is going on? If you only make porridge with water, you're a wrong un. If you make it with milk, that is correct. If you need to add a little bit of water to balance it out, do it. But you've just fucked up on the quantity of milk, you know? Also, it depends how much sugar you're putting in. Because if you don't put any sugar, it's not nice. Even with milk, even with the way you're meant to make porridge, if you put milk in and just porridge oats and warm it up, I don't. It doesn't taste great. It tastes okay. It's food to a certain degree, but it doesn't taste great. You got to put some sugar in. You got to. And at that point, you might as well just be having Nesquik. So, or like Wheatos or something. Oh, Wheatos. The milk from Wheatos and Nesquik. Oh, I'll bang a fucking massive bowl in, pour loads of milk over them. And sometimes, and I wouldn't want to tell my mum this because she'd go mental at me, but sometimes I want her just to get Wheatos and Netflix, Nesquik, just so I could pour shit tons of milk on it, leave them in there, stir them up every now and again, and then spoon out the actual cereal into the bin and just drink the milk. She could have just got me Nesquik fucking like the powdered milkshake stuff. But no, get us the fucking cereal. I'll do it myself. My mum is listening. I didn't do that. I just made it up for comedic relief. You know, just please don't slap me at Christmas when I see you. Nah, look, I see my mum more than that. It's only about a mile or so away, but she won't be happy. You know, when she'll wonder, she'll now realize why I went through so much fucking cereal because half the time I wasn't actually eating it. I was just lobbing it in the bin, but having the milk as the byproduct. Great, great fucking childhood I had, honestly. Anyway, new Coke. A shit invention. I feel like when you mess with something that has been so successful for so long, just don't bother. Like if they turn around like Pepsi Max, which in my opinion, I think I've already said, is far, far, far superior to Coke Zero. Now, if they turn around and said, look, we've got a new recipe for Pepsi Max, I will be in the streets lobbing fucking bricks at PepsiCo buildings. All right. That's what would get me on the streets. All right. None of this, smashing mosques up and that. All right. But if Pepsi came out and said, look, we've had the same recipe for a while. We know people like it, but we've got a better one. I would be on the streets in a heartbeat. I'd make several Facebook posts, probably insulting and illegal to some people in the Pepsi Corporation. I'd call for the CEO's head on a spike. What the fuck you doing, you prick? Don't mess with something that I cherish so deeply. You're basically attacking my religion. So yeah, I'll be on the streets and I'll probably end up in prison. So in a way, Pepsi, don't change it. Just keep it the same. Because if you do, I'll come for you. I'll fucking do it. Anyway. So yeah, that was some of the things that shit inventions that kind of popped up on this news article that I wanted to read and talk about. But yeah, don't. The moral of the story is right. If you think, and I did say they all linked back to one thing, which is money. Obviously the subprime mortgages is definitely just a money thing. You just get more people on mortgages, so you get a commission for just getting people on the mortgages itself. Uh, Even changing the formula of Coke to a more popular on paper recipe of Coke makes more sense because you'll sell more. Sony basically stopping people from ripping music from their CD and putting it on their computer was to make people buy more CDs or to stop people borrowing CDs. Nintendo trying to make a console that was years ahead of the competition in terms of the thought process behind it was to garner more money coming in through sales. It's all money related, and I get that. It's very easy for me to say that, but you do cross a line sometimes when you've got a good thing going on and you're just trying to make it a bit better. You know, it just doesn't fly well with the ordinary folk. But yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about. I mean, I will talk about very right at the end, right at the end, just because it's come up recently, and I don't know because I'm filming this about a week or so before the episode will go out. So I don't know if this has already happened. I don't know if it's already gone away, or maybe we're all in lockdown again already. Um, don't know if you've heard about the monkeypox, although you can't call it that anymore. It's now mpox because obviously monkey. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Is it because it was originated or was first tested for in monkeys? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's prevalent in monkeys. I don't know. But you can't call it that anymore because apparently it's racist. Um, so it's called mpox. Mpox is on the rise, unfortunately. It's on the rise in Africa, and it is a public health emergency, apparently. More than 15,000 mpox cases and 461 deaths have been reported on the continent this year so far, a 160% increase in cases compared with the same period last year, while deaths have jumped by around 90%. 19, not 90. 19. Sorry, the way I say stuff sometimes it's not clear. I do come from Norfolk, so every time you hear my accent, sometimes I will slip into the old Norfolk talking like that. Boy, you know what I mean? You go 19%, boy, you know what I mean? Up right that. Well, deaths jumped up round 19%, boy. You know what I mean? That sometimes I'll slip into that. But a lot of the time, I'm all right. You can vaguely tell what I'm trying to convey. But yeah, I want to say that just because I know there's going to be people in government, people around the world rubbing their hands together. It's like, oh, here we go. Lockdowns, bring them back. Let's keep people inside and let's get the Amazon orders flowing. Well, I'm fairly certain if we were to be announced to be going into lockdown, I would expect literally fucking no one to do it. I don't think it's possible to do that anymore. And for good fucking reason, because we're all told to stay inside when a good number of people that were making the rules were just basically having a massive piss up at our expense. So I don't think it's going to work, even with a new government uh, in place. I don't think anyone's going to pay any attention. And to be honest, based on history, I don't think you should. Fuck it. It's all right. Just get Mpox. Do you know what I mean? Just let it take over your body. Survival of the fittest, isn't it? If you can't beat it, sorry. I mean, it's very insensitive, but obviously you want to take care of yourself. But I'm just saying, I don't think anyone's going to pay any attention to any attempt to lock down the country. I don't think it's just our country either. I think it's pretty much fucking everywhere. America, there's too many guns in America. They'll probably think that they can shoot Mpox. You know what I mean? It's like Mpox is confirmed, first case in America, and the first thing a load of rednecks do is get their guns out. It's like, where's this red? Where's this Mpox, man? I'm gonna fucking shoot it with my 12 gauge. That was a shit accent. I do apologize. But yeah, I don't want to go too southern because as much as I don't particularly agree with the right to bear arms, for everyone. Um, it is literally like a right that has been in the country for many, many, many decades. Some say hundreds of years. So I think it's pretty impossible to try and change that now. I think there's too many people with too many guns that if you do try and change it, we'll see you infringing on the right that they currently have. So it's a bit of it's a slippery slope, what I'm saying. But it does make the US one of the most invasion proof countries in the world. Like you have a large portion of your population, which is massive, by the way, over 500 million people or about that across the US. And you'd hazard at least fucking half of them would have some access to weapons and like not like a knife or a cleaver. I'm talking like a fucking 12 gauge shotty or a fucking AR-15, you know? So, yeah, do you know what? Mpox, try America. See how that goes for you. I don't know if you can shoot Mpox away, but they'll definitely try. And I don't think it's a good idea for Mpox to try and encroach on the US. But anyway, I wanted to just read that out because it'd be interesting to see how bad it gets when this comes out. So I'm not like a fortune teller or anything like that. I'm just saying it happened when I was filming. The story came out, and I wanted to see what the effect would be in like a week's and a half time when this comes out. But yeah, obviously, I hope no one gets Mpox. I don't want anyone to get it. It sounds quite nasty. It looks quite nasty. It looks like a really like shit, more shit version than chickenpox. And I thought chickenpox was pretty shit back in the day when I got it. Um, but yeah, this Mpox is not great. It's not great, and it's on the rise in Africa. And if you're one of these people, you can't be anymore. You can't. If you're one of these people who sat there going, "Well, that's in Africa. That's ages away." Same thing happened with COVID. Allegedly, possibly, maybe there are people who think COVID didn't actually exist. Uh, there are people who think it did exist, but it was a biological weapon released by some, arm of the Chinese government. All conspiracy theories, but every conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory until it's not. So we can't just completely dismiss everything. But at the same time, the vast majority of conspiracy theories are absolutely fucking asinine. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining me for this hour of night inventions and the possibility of us all contracting mpox. It's a great we really live in exciting times. We really do. We've got, you know, a broken society, especially in the UK. Basically, we're at a civil war, and now there's the little cherry on top of mpox possibly reaching us in the near future. It's great. Thank you for joining me, though. I really do appreciate everyone choosing me as their quite possibly doomsday entertainment. Allegedly, possibly, maybe getting that brand out there. Look, it's got to be done. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, if you do want to become a member, $4.99 a month gets you 2 extra podcasts a month, specialized and formulated for you. New, improved. I'm not even going to go down that route. Pepsi, keep your fucking formula the same. Do not try and fuck with the recipe. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the APMA. Bye bye for now.